Welcome to Hypothetical Elephant. Today's video, we're going to talk about the top 5 rides at Universal Studios in Orlando. Now, this is just the Universal Studios side, not Islands of Adventure.
So, let's get hypothetical.
All right, welcome guys. We're going to do a top 5 rides list. Now, this is our top 5 rides. This is not by any means anybody else's.
Just our opinions from, we've been there since 2005. It's 2022, so we have been there quite a bit. Some of the rides we love have went away. We're going to make another video about that. These are our top 5 that we really enjoy with our family at Universal Studios Park.
All right, so let's get started with the number 5 pick. We both agreed on this pick. Transformers.
It's a newer ride.
Newer ride. It's not been around too long. It's sort of the same as the Spider-Man ride in Islands of Adventure. I think it's got the same ride vehicle.
Yep, you sit in a little cart.
Yep.
It's like a 3D mixed with some physical props.
Yes.
It's really cool.
It's a cool little ride. If you get motion sickness, you might want to take some
spins, bumps. Twists.
You might want to take some motion sickness pills or medicine. But it is a cool little ride, and then it's got some an extra little thing, like at certain times of the day you can go out and meet one of the Transformers. I think it's Bumblebee, Optimus Prime, and Megatron. It's got that meet and greet, so give that a try. Anything else you want to add to that one?
No, I don't have anything else to say on that one.
All right. Number 4 on the list is E.T. the ride. This has been there probably, I think, since the park is open. It's got a great walkthrough. If you don't have express passes, you sort of bypass that, but it's got a lot of the old stuff you see in the movie, like the Speak and Say or whatever that thing is. It's got like some props that look like it came from the movie.
Yeah, some astronauts up into it's a big space forest kind of feel. It's got astronauts, got the alien ET that comes out and talks every now and then. It's really cool, really dark.
Looks like a jungle at night.
And then when you walk into the entrance of the ride, right before you go through the walkthrough, you give them your name on a card. And at the end of the ride, which is really cool, we'll get to that in more detail, but the little ET figure talks to you and says your name, so that's pretty cool.
Now, if it's really busy, they bypass the cards, so it might just say friends at the end.
Oh, wait, hold on. And on top of the ET, we thought it was really... how do I say it? An extra bonus that comes with the ET ride, and when you're going through it, if you look closely, you can see Harry Potter kind of stuck down in there. It's really pretty cool. That's all I got for ET.
All right, number 3 is Rip Ride Rocket. The one cool thing about Rip Ride Rocket is when you get on the ride vehicle, you close your little, what is that called? Your ride harness.
Yeah, harness.
And you have a little screen that you can pick song from a song list. There's Limp Bizkit, there's MC Hammer. Just
the favorite one that I picked was Staying Alive because it's a crazy ride.
But yeah, as soon as you get on there, you got so many seconds to pick the ride. There is a hidden song list that you can pick from. But as soon as you get on there, it shoots you straight up. You're laying on your back, straight into the sun, and then ready for a drop. But it's the one thing.
How tall is the drop?
I can't remember.
I think it's like at least 2.
Well, don't add that in there because I don't know. But it's a
Super
pretty good
tall
drop. It's got some inverts and that kind of stuff. The one thing about that ride is if you're a guy, you will get off there and it will hurt because the little area in the middle that helps keep you in is
not super comfortable.
Not super comfortable. Like I said, it's not been refurbished or anything in a while, I think. So it's a little rougher than some of the newer rides, but it is
the
a
cool
really
features
good ride.
With the music. It's just you're excited the whole time you're riding.
You're into the ride. Yeah, you're into the ride. You're jamming, you're listening to that, and only you hear your music. So I could have somebody right next to me listening to a different song, and I don't hear their music. I hear mine. And
so good number 3. Good number 3.
And then of course you can get the ride video at the end of the at the ride
to see your reactions.
Yeah. Now I think if you use the secret song list, you don't get that ride video. You can't purchase that, but you can purchase that if you use the regular list. I do think the song list needs updated. It's a lot of older
newer
songs.
stuff on there.
It's a lot of older songs, so I do think they could update that song list to some newer stuff to get up with the the times. But it's a really good ride.
It is.
All right, Logan, what's number 2?
Number 2 is
this. Honestly, this is probably our favorite ride in the park, but it's number 2 because it has been there a while and we've rode it hundreds of times, and it probably could have been number 1. So
at the time of making this video, it's currently closed down due to some renovations. But number 2 is Revenge of the Mummy.
Yes.
This ride is, I mean, it's a roller coaster inside with a lot of things happening. You go through some cool areas with some props from the movie. Then you go through a little area with a screen. Then it takes you up on a hill. You see some characters talking, and then you go into some pitch blackness, and you're going through some little twists and turns. A super fast ride in the dark makes it even faster.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil too much if you haven't rode the ride, but it's got some different things to it that are really, really cool. I mean,
it's awesome.
Yeah.
And then number 1.
Oh, hold on. Let's go back to the Mummy. The Mummy, when you get off the ride, you can come through, and it takes you through a cool little, of course, store.
Most of them do.
And you can buy your picture, and yeah, most of them do.
But you can buy your picture.
You can buy your picture from the ride, and it's a themed picture. Which actually we have one right here that Logan can grab real quick, where we've rode it. It's a little dirty, but
a little dirty because it's pretty old, but you can get a nice little casing. Has the picture inside of it. It's a little dusty. It's been sitting down.
Of course, it has all the merchandise. A lot of merchandise from the Mummy. It's really cool.
It is nice. All right, and number 1, which is in a newer part of the park that actually took out one of our favorite rides.
Yes.
But we do believe it was worth it. Maybe that one will come back. We'll talk about that in another video. But number 1 is Gringotts. Now,
Escape from Gringotts.
Escape from Gringotts, yes. An awesome feature. As soon as you walk into this part of the park, you walk through a little
Gringotts, the bank.
Harry Potter feature that you see the bank.
And then you see all the...
and there's a huge dragon sitting on top that spits fire every so often.
So many minutes,
Yeah, it's like 15 minutes or so. And we won't tell you too much because we don't want to spoil all that. But
let's just say the animatronics are really good. And then after you go through the bank and you go through the animatronics, you'll get to a screen that it sort of gives you a little theme, or not a theme, but a little video. And then you go into a little elevator section, and then you go into the ride. The ride's really cool. Of course, it's sort of like the vehicle is sort of like the Mummy.
Yep. It's
got the same restraints.
If you're really claustrophobic, it's probably not the best ride for you because it completely traps your legs. I mean, your legs are not moving at all. But other than that, that's probably the worst thing about it. Now, what he was talking about, the features through it, I think in the queue line that there's so many features, and they do this with a lot of the rides there at Universal, but there's so many cool features that you don't even really feel like you're waiting in a line.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of that.
They have a lot of newspapers laying around when you're going through that have like the motion like they do in the movie, wanted Harry Potter, and it shows a picture of him and all that stuff.
So it takes some of that frustration of waiting away, and you get to see some cool features. So that's our top 5 picks of our rides at Universal, and we have 2 honorable mentions. Now, we could have probably done away with honorable mentions on this park, but we do feel like they are good enough to talk about. The first one is more so for toddlers. It's our number 2 honorable mention, is Minions. It's a newer ride that took away what it takes
Jimmy
place.
Neutron.
Jimmy Neutron. So, for my generation, we grew up watching Jimmy Neutron. I love that ride. But for the newer generation, they've put in Minions, and it's pretty decent for younger kids and toddlers that are riding the ride. But it's not one of my favorites, so I put it in an honorable mention.
We've only maybe ride it once or twice.
Yeah, so
rode it once or twice. So
nothing crazy extravagant, but it's more for kids. And then number 1 honorable mention is Men in Black. Now this one's a little older ride. but there's a cool feature. You get to shoot aliens, so that's awesome. I won't go into too much detail so we don't ruin it, but awesome queue line to walk through. You can actually do a VIP tour of the facility there and walk through and see some of the cool things there. But that's our 2 honorable mentions. So
oh yeah, and you play a game on the Men in Black. You shoot the aliens. You play a game, try to get a high score.
I always win. You know, I'm the best shooter on the team.
We didn't even ride it this past time, so he don't even know what he's talking about.
But really cool. You get to compete against your family, compete against people on your cart,
and other carts.
Yeah, and other carts. So really cool. You get to get your picture off of that one as well. So that's just some cool features of that ride. But it's an older ride, so it didn't make our top 5. But that's our top 5 and the 2 honorable mentions. Anything else you got to say?
That's all for me.
All right. Well, we appreciate you watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you can stay tuned for the top 5 rides at Universal Studios Islands of Adventure and the rest of our videos. Peace.